Agriculture is worth billions of dollars to the Queensland economy, but during summer, hundreds of growers watched their crops go underwater. Marlena Wapp reports on how farmers are trying to bounce back.
It's been a summer of sorrow for Queensland. The deluge swallowed vast areas of valuable farming land. Incomes were wiped out, and now the true damage bill is being tallied.
Over the 50 years, this is the first time we've seen massive wipeouts like we have.
There's still a lot of places where you get that spewy country, that sandy loam country, where they still can't get the cattle out.
For Queensland alone, we think the damage could well be over $1 billion in this financial year.
On land where the water has gone, a sense of desperation remains. Cotton grower FLEUR Anderson runs a property with her husband Kirk at Theodore in central Queensland. When we visited them in January, most of their crop had been devastated from floods for the second time in a year.
It certainly does make you worry about what's ahead and how to get through.
2 months later, the fields are green again.
It's too late in the season to plant back any cotton, particularly the GM cotton. So a lot of guys have looked to mung bean, some to sorghum, and some other sort of summer crops, corn. But mung bean certainly has been a big take-up around the area.
There's no cotton in sight. These mung beans will be a quick cash crop to help ease the financial pain.
We'd never usually plant that much mung bean. We're traditionally cotton on cotton, so this would be a bit of a change.
Most Dawson Valley growers have done the same thing. But before the flood, they were looking forward to a busy picking season and a soaring international price for cotton. ABARES chief commodity analyst JAMMIE has been doing the maths on how the industry is faring.
We estimate that the recent weather events could have caused loss of production and exports for the cotton industry of around 150 million in this financial year. So it's quite a significant event.
Without a cotton harvest, FLEUR Anderson says her husband will have to head south to work on other farms.
Have you found your shovel? Show me how it works.
She'll stay at home with their 2-year-old daughter Tilly.
It's not the best situation for Tilly and I to be away from him for 3 months, but it's what you've got to do.
Away from the farms, businesses are also hurting.
The agricultural sector has a huge bearing on our trade in town. They're our most loyal customers, and if they're not spending, then it is a domino effect, and it affects all trade in all businesses, right from commercial industry and retailing.
HOLMES Enterprises opened as a family business in 1924.
Hello. How you doing?
The department store sells itself as having something for everyone, young and old, and for every occasion. In Theodore, it has the reputation of being the place to go when you need to buy a gift. But manager SHARON says lately customers have been tightening their belts.
And they'll be cutting back on the more expensive ranges, like the cutlery, the Stanley Rogers, the more expensive ranges. Whereas once before, crystal glassware would have been something that they would have bought for a wedding or present. They'll downgrade now to a less expensive item.
She says the tiny town has come up with its own stimulus plan to help local businesses. Residents have been given these $50 vouchers to spend.
Once the vouchers were released into the community, we saw an immediate effect. So we were very thrilled about that.
Theodore is renowned and we take our pride in finding innovative ways to solve our own problems. We like the assistance of government, but we don't ask government to come in and solve them all for us. We understand that locally owned initiatives usually have the best outcomes.
The initiative saved Sharon Holmes from sacking a young worker. She also runs a cattle business with her husband, feeding cattle from around the state.
Oh, they come from all over the place. They come from Dalby, Emerald, locally. You know, we sort of buy them as a young light cattle and then carry them through.
Chris Holmes says flood-damaged roads are a big problem for graziers.
We had cattle contracted for certain weeks and we had to put them back. We also had to move cattle. We had to drive them about 4 kilometres across to the neighbour's place.
He thinks it's a short-term hurdle because the soaking wet usually means there are better times ahead.
Terrific now, like you couldn't believe. 14 months ago, it was in December 2009, it was just a disastrous drought we're in. And now we've just got that much feed, it's unbelievable.
Analysts agree.
Export demand has been holding up quite well, especially in the major markets of Japan, the Republic of Korea, and the United States. So the outlook for the beef industry is rather positive in the short term at least.
And around these parts, there is an expectation too that slowly cotton will come good again. Growers say they should be planting another crop in October.
It certainly has set a lot of people back a considerable number of years, but they are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and that head down and keep going.
Marlena Wapp reporting.